learned the hard way. Nothing's overnight. Some days you lose, some days you survive. Still strong, even moving slow. Every step counts more than you know. I found gold in the everyday, and showing up and staying brave. Still strong.
Roy Lietz, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Roy, I have a proper introduction for you here, but it's been my protocol before I give an introduction to give someone my personal take of them. And I could go on for a long time, Roy. I don't think you realize how big of an impact you've had on my life. I am an observer of people. I met you when I had Horsing Around Deli. And I would watch you come in. You would sit at the end of the bar, and I don't even think you realize this, but you'd sit at the end of the bar, and half the time you'd sit down in the same shorts like you're wearing now. Your little revolver in your pocket would kind of like, I figured it was there. Your little revolver kind of like poke out the side. So I'm like, okay, this guy is a defender of people. This guy is, and I watched you, and I would watch you come with deli sometime with a stray dog in the back of your truck. You have a heart for animals, for stray things, for helpless things. You have a heart for helpless things. Several times you would bring children to the deli with you that were not your own. And I want to talk about that. I remember one time in particular, you picked up a sense that this family living next to you, like it might not have been a great home life for these two young kids. And you invested in them, you brought them to the deli, you spent time with them. So I get a picture of a man that is very stubborn. If he thinks a certain way, you're not going to change his mind. I think the only one that can change your mind is probably Sharon. But a person that has a heart and is a caregiver for children and animals. I've observed it. And to be able to do that at 81 years old, that's what I want to be like. I want to be like that. So that's my own personal take on you. A man, a hard man that I know has worked hard, but gentle when it's time to be gentle. My daughter, Emma, she was born when we owned Horsing Around Deli. I got a picture of you holding her while Karen and I were cooking food because we were busy. He said, hey, let me hold that baby. And to be able to hand her off to you and know that she's secure and good, and you're just those pictures of you playing with her, like you love children and you love animals. So let me give you this proper introduction. Roy Lietz, you were born in Illinois. You have two siblings. You're married to Sharon for 44 years. That poor woman. You have your children. You have 4 daughters and a son, 5 children, 12 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren. One thing I'd like to dive in with you about is you are a lifetime entrepreneur. You've just been good at business, and I want to talk about that. And then last but not least, 81 years old. 81 years old.
At least I can talk still.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that. What does it feel like to be 81 in the morning? Like what's a day like for a person in their 80s? I want to get to
just one day at a time. And you go to bed for the night, you just pray that you're going to see tomorrow.
Okay.
But now you know what? I have a hard time believing that I'm 81. It's hard for me to accept. And I mean, I accept it, but it just don't seem possible that I'm 81 years old and soon be 82, but it is what it is. And so you make do with what you got.
I want to, at some point in the conversation, I do want to talk about that because I just turned 50.
Yeah, I know. I was at your party.
And 50 is nothing for 81, but I had that same feeling like, how did I get here so fast? I don't know what 50 is supposed to feel like, but I don't feel 50. Like, you're 81. Do you know what 81 is supposed to feel like? And do you feel like you're 81?
No.
Okay, so I want to understand that, like, because I want to be like that. When I'm 81, I don't want to feel 81.
Yeah.
So I want to learn the secret to that. But anyway, Roy, everyone that comes on the podcast gets a gift. These are Richardson 112s. My kids say these are the best hats you can buy, still strong. Only problem is, Roy, you could probably get the biggest head of anybody I've interviewed. I don't know if this is going to fit you, so don't try it on the podcast. Try it on later, and if we got to replace it, we'll do it later.
It better be a big adjustment. Well, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, Roy, let's get rolling. So kind of the format is there is no format. I just want to have a real conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I figure you can't go wrong with starting in the beginning. You were born in Illinois. I know your dad was your hero. Let's start at the beginning. Tell me what your home life was like. Tell me about those things that shaped you, who you are early on, and let's just get after it from there.
No. Well, like I said, my father was my hero, and to this day, it bothers me what he had to go through, because you'll never hear me say anything about my mother, because I've kind of come to it after. It took me several years, because all I want to do is lash out at her, not for what she done to us kids, but what she done to my father. And so from this point on, I won't even mention her.
Understood.
But I never realized until I got to be in my teens, probably. It never soaked in on me. The sacrifices that my father made for us. We was poorer than mice, than church mice. If we hadn't been raised on a farm and a ranch, so to speak, we would have probably starved to death. Daddy planted almost a 1 acre garden every year. And he, after a couple of years after my mother had left, Daddy hired a housekeeper, and there was several of them in the next few years, because Daddy was pretty strict about certain rules. One of them was you didn't miss church or Sunday school. I went to a St. Paul's Lutheran in Sedoris, Illinois. And I can remember Daddy about his rule on church. When we would travel, which was very seldom, and later on in years, I remember one Sunday, we was in North Carolina, and Saturday night, Daddy said, make sure you're up in time for church.
Wow.
Even though we was on vacation, we went to church.
Wow.
But that was Daddy. But this man gave up his whole life, just to raise us kids. And it's up for, depending on who you ask, if he done a good job or a bad job. But my baby sister, she passed away in 2012 of cancer. And so they're just me and my oldest sister. She's 3 years younger than me. And then I had a brother who was almost stillborn. He lived a few hours, and he was a year older than me. His name was Larry Everett, named after my father, because my father's name was Everett. And so Daddy just, without my even realizing it, Daddy planted stuff in me.
Yes.
And I still live a lot of that today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my biggest wish, I think, I have a few of them, but one of my biggest wishes is that where I'm at in life today, I wish Daddy was still here, so I could shower him with my success, and because now I can afford to show him things that he never ever saw or dreamed of. And I would have liked to have had that opportunity. But, I didn't. Daddy died at 66 years of age. He was very bad diabetic, and he went into an insulin diabetic coma, and he passed. And he turned 66 on the, he lived to be 66 years and 20 days old, and my, me and my sisters, our world just about came to an end. He passed in 1985. He's buried by my house in Maine.
Wow.
And him and my stepmother, Daddy remarried, and they're both buried right there. I tend to his stone every summer when I go north, and the lots that he's on, and then of course, a few years down the road, now I have my son's lot to tend to.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing I've ever had to accept in my life.
Before we jump to your son, I want to stick in this little spot about your daddy. Pull that microphone a little bit closer. I want to make sure we hear you. I want to get to your son. Well, let's stay with your dad for a while, because I'm feeling a lot here right now.
Mm-hmm.
What did your dad do for a living?
He was a farmer.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
So when you said, hey, if we hadn't have had some property, we would have probably starved. Like, you weren't just playing around with words.
No.
Okay. Describe to me your father's work ethic, and describe to me, like you had said, Keith, describe to me your daddy's hands. Just because you had said, hey, Keith, back then we didn't have machinery.
No.
Like back then everything was by hand. Like just let's don't just talk about it. I kind of want you to go back there and remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And like just as you're remembering, I want to feel that. Like, what was it like as a boy living on that farm with your dad? Tell me some of the things that your dad did for work that you admire him about. Let's just live there for a minute.
Well, first of all, I got to point out my daddy's nickname.
Let's hear it.
And it was Popeye.
Wow. So, okay, right there.
Everything we done was manually. You shoveled the grain bin, wagons, 135 bushel. If that went into the seed, you done that with a scoop shovel. There wasn't augers and, front end loaders. There wasn't all of that stuff at that time. Everything Daddy done was manual. And milking cattle. He had the most unbelievable forearms. And so there was two things you didn't do. You didn't shake his hand, and you didn't change him.
Tilt it down a little bit. Just tilt it down. There you go. We're good now.
And
you didn't shake his hand?
You don't shake hands with him, and you don't challenge him to an arm wrestling match because you're going to lose. And I know I got some satisfaction when I went to Maine and I opened the restaurants. I brought my daddy with me.
Oh, good.
And I told him he was my manager. And I had opened 3 restaurants. And I started out with the one and little takeout place. And that was with my ex-wife and my 4 children. We went in an RV trailer, pulling it behind an 89 Oldsmobile.
Wow.
And I had my reasons for wanting to leave Illinois. My ex-wife was from Illinois. Her father was the sheriff of the county that we lived in. Second nicest man I ever knew in my life. And so it wasn't, it was just getting away from bad habits that I developed back there.
Understood.
And so we went to Maine, and I was bound determined I was going to make it at whatever. So of all things,
how old were you when you left Illinois to Maine?
I was 23 years old, 24.
How old were you when you moved out of your daddy's house?
18.
You're 18 when you moved out.
Yeah, I moved down the road 300 yards and 300 feet and on the opposite side of the road.
When you were living at home growing up, did you have responsibilities on the farm?
Oh, yeah. I would get up in the morning before Daddy could put together enough money to hire a housekeeper. I'd get up in the morning and I'd milk 8 head of cattle.
Wow.
And then I would come in and make breakfast for my sisters. We'd get on a bus.
How old are you when you're doing this?
Well, I would have been, I was milking cattle when I was 8 years old. So,
yeah,
and, but now when Daddy wasn't out in the field, farming, and then he would milk the cattle.
Got it.
But of an evening when I come home, I definitely milk the cattle then.
So,
and,
so in those days, the work that they did back then, it was a communal family effort. Like your daddy at 8 years old, your daddy needed you.
Yeah.
Milking cows wasn't just for fun
Yeah.
or practice or to teach you a life lesson.
Right.
He needed you.
Yeah. Well, we had a hired man that lived with us. He was deaf and dumb, and Daddy just kind of took him in, and he worked on the farm, and he just became part of our family, and unfortunately, he worked for Daddy for 4 or 5 years, and then one day we was all, me and my daddy and the hired man was out on the tractors, each one of us, we was plowing, what we were doing. We came to the house for lunch, and Harmon got up. Of course, he would just devour his food. And he got up and went out to fill the tractors full of gas and to refuel to go back to work. And after a few minutes, Daddy said to me, "Boy, go check on Harmon. I haven't heard a tractor start up. Like there was one pulled up to the tank, pull it away." I walked out of the house, and this is when my first introduction to just shock. And I saw Harmon laying about halfway to the tractor, face first. I did not dare to walk to him. I come running back into the house, and I said, "Daddy, Harmon's laying out there." Well, Harmon was dead. He had his heart just exploded.
Wow.
So I know us kids we was heartbroken. Even though he couldn't speak to us, he made us understand what he was trying to say.
Wow.
And so that was our first introduction to that.
I didn't know that about your dad. I mean, I've heard a lot of these stories. I didn't know that about your dad with that guy, that hired hand that he just kind of took in. But it doesn't surprise me because I've seen you do that many times, and and we're going to get to that. But I think that you having that skill to take people in that need it and giving them a purpose comes from your dad.
Yes, it does.
It comes from your dad.
Yeah. I am thankful that I have no trademarks of my mother. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that's how I feel. So,
do you feel okay telling me why you have those feelings about your mother?
Yeah, I can describe it.
What happened?
She was a horrible, horrible individual, person. Everything about her was bad. She had 2 more children by 2 different men.
Oh.
And my baby sister, Daddy wasn't her father. We know who was, but Daddy took her.
Oh. Got it.
Just like his own.
Got it.
And never once did I ever hear Daddy, out in the public and conversation. Never once did I ever hear my daddy call her his stepdaughter.
Wow.
Or adopted daughter. Never, never. And she was such a gentle little soul. She was little and 180 degrees from my mother. But like I said, she passed, and I took care of her the last 2 years that she was alive. She was going through all this treatment, and she tried to work, and she was actually a manager for Casey Incorporation, which is a big thing in the Midwest for gas stations and convenience stores. And she was a general manager for them. And but then cancer got her, and so I rented her an apartment. I paid her rent in an apartment an apartment complex that she lived in, and I have no idea how many times I got on my motorcycle and rode to Illinois to see her, because she loved motorcycles. She was just a little bitty thing, but she wore boots that had built-up heels on them, and she had an 883 Harley-Davidson Sportster. And her husband at the time lowered it for her so she could ride. And I want to touch on this point. The last meal that I had with her, I took her on a motorcycle ride, and we went to this restaurant 2 miles from her house, and we're sitting there, and she was very, very spiritual, very spiritual. She reached across the table and took both my hands. And she said, "Now, brother, I want you to listen to me." She says, "I'm going to die. And it's just around the corner."
Wow.
And she said, "But here's what I want you to do. I want you to get on a motorcycle and take another trip to the West Coast. Pretend that I'm with you. But if you really want to make me happy, do it on a Harley."
Yeah.
She knew, of course, I had Jap bikes.
Yeah.
Oh, what did Roy do? I went to town and bought a Harley Road Glide, a 2012 Harley Road Glide. And I went to the West Coast. I went to Montana.
Yeah.
And so I fulfilled that for her.
Yeah. I remember.
So
I remember that.
Yeah.
There was a story that I remember you talking about in those early days. You talk about a black woman that your mom had hired that just loved you kids. Can you talk about her for a little bit?
She showed it. Well, I guess the first sentence would be, she showed love that my mother never did. And especially towards my baby sister. I mean, now at this point, I'm a young adult, and so was my sister. But it was just amazing how she took to Anita. But the one thing that I remember, she was very large-breasted, very large. And she was a big woman. And we went to a grocery store on a Saturday, and me and and my two sisters. Well, Anita was an infant. And she had made this thing out of a pillowcase or a sheet or something that went around her neck, and Anita was right between them very large breasts and her little face. So we walked up to the register, and she says to the girls, she really put a lot of effort to make it sound black. "Don't you all think that my baby is beautiful?" And them two little white girls, of course, they looked at each other, and she said, "What's the matter? Don't you think I'm my baby?" I'll never, ever forget that. But she loved Anita. But anyhow, unfortunately, we didn't have her very long at all. Daddy got up that one morning, and his coffee wasn't ready, and he said he knew right then. He walked to her room and opened her door, and he hollered at her, and then he walked down and poked her foot. She's dead. She died in her sleep. But
it sounds like those early years at home sounds like not only was the work hard, but it sounds like, I mean, we've only been talking for a few minutes, and we're already talking about people that have died. Yeah. Like that were close to you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, do what you got to do. Dunkin' Donuts. This part of the podcast brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
A little free. I'll send them a bill for the advertising.
Roy, we're going to move to a transition. You talked about when you moved to Maine. You already started describing that. But before we do, is there any other thing in Illinois that you want to talk about your daddy? home life early on? Anything there in this pocket of time of your life you want to?
Daddy, everything Daddy could do for me, he done. You know, like I said, we was poor. Before I left Illinois, I joined the ironworkers. I got in under an apprentice program, and it's supposed to be 6 months, and you get a union card. I done it in 7 weeks.
Wow.
And got my union card. And so I worked as an iron worker. Well, I was married, at that point, and I had my children, and that travel trailer I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine who lived, he was from Maine. He was my telephone man, and he lived just 2 miles from me in Illinois. Well, we kind of became friends. And he always talked to me about Maine, how beautiful it was.
Okay.
And everybody's got to see it.
Okay.
So he said, just don't come in the wintertime. So I loaded up my family, and we went to Maine.
With no prospect of anything? You just...
Well, I had called the union.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Understood.
And yes, I could work.
Understood.
I
Got it.
had my union card.
Got it.
So I got to Maine, and we checked into a campground there and on a beautiful, beautiful lake. And so I thought, well, I just hang out for a few days, and then I'll go to work. And in the meantime, the man that was my telephone man, he had opened a pizza shop.
Okay.
And I was hanging out with him of a night. And he said, this is what you need to do. There's money in this.
Mm.
And he just had a little takeout shop, no tables, no nothing.
Okay.
And he said, you can really make some money doing that. Well, that got my attention.
Mm.
So I went 22 mile down the road into a larger town in Ellsworth, Maine. And in 3 weeks, I opened a pizza shop.
Man, listen. Okay. We're going to... You and I are going to connect here.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, you need to do this. There's money in it.
Yeah.
You went down there. Did you know how to make pizzas? Did you know how to make pizzas?
No.
Okay.
His wife came down and showed me how to make the sauce and everything else.
Wow.
We actually bought our crust, our dough.
Yeah.
And in the beginning.
So in 3 weeks, you're doing this pizza thing with...
Well, I ran out of money before I had all the equipment I needed.
Wow.
So I went down to the bank.
Yeah.
And I told them I wanted to borrow $500.
Mm-hmm.
And Harris McLean, God love him, he was the president. And he said, if the board of directors would throw me out of here if I was to make you a loan. You got no collateral except an old car and a camper. And he said, and a lot of people have tried pizza shops
And failed.
and they failed.
Right.
What makes you think you can do it? And I looked at him and I said, because I'm the smartest guy that ever tried it.
Mm.
And he said, well, you don't lack on confidence. That's a good thing. He took his personal checkbook and wrote me a check for $500.
Listen.
Told me to go out there and cash it. I did. And I said, I'll pay you back and in 6 months, I had paid him back.
Let me hit a couple things here.
Yeah.
I've had stories like that in my life where I can see where I need to go, and my mind is it's done. It just hasn't got there yet. Like I can see it. Like with you in your pizza shop.
Yeah.
You weren't afraid. You were like, you could see that vision. You went after it.
Yeah.
But then there comes a point where sometimes you've gone as far as you can go, and somebody else has to believe in your dream, and they invest in you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just spoke to that. A banker that invested in you.
Yeah.
And God uses people like that.
Mm.
The other thing why I said, hey, this resonates with us, because for you to start that pizza shop, a guy says, hey, there's money in this, and you go do it. I sold my construction company 2005. Took a year just to gather my thoughts, spend some time with the kids. And built a couple spec homes and flipped them. Then 2008 happened, which nothing's going on. Nothing's going on. 2009, I mean, all the money that I had made, I invested in mutual funds and all this kind of stuff, and we were just kind of living off that income. I thought I was set. I was 30 years old. I thought, man, I made all this money. I did what you're supposed to do. I thought I was set.
Mm-hmm.
We bought Horse and Round Deli. A friend of mine's, I was just like trying to figure out my next move. What's my next move? We're going up to lunch for Horse and Round Deli, and I was like, man, this place is busy. Like, I could see myself doing this with a family. Like, I could envision it.
Mm-hmm.
Grace came over. I said, hey, would you ever consider selling this place? They looked at me shocked. They was like, what's your number? I gave my number. They were wanting out because his mom was having health problems, and they were like, they were having a conversation the night before about, hey, I need to be close to my mom. And then I had said that. So, long story short, we ended up buying it. I went home, told my wife, said, hey, we're buying a little sandwich shop. And she's like, what? She's like, Keith, you don't cook, you don't do anything. She pulled a griddle out with some bread and some butter and some cheese. And she said, make me a grilled cheese sandwich. I was like, all right, but what's the butter for? She said, you put the butter on the bread for the thing. Like that was my skill set. I knew nothing, but I'm not afraid to work.
Yeah, that's right.
And hey, you watched it firsthand.
Yeah, I did.
We blew that thing up.
Yeah.
And it was a good time for my children to be together, to work together, to get around the community. Yeah. But I saw that vision.
Yeah.
And we got after it.
Yeah.
With no experience. I was learning literally in front of people in real time. It's not like you can just go somewhere and practice. Like you were learning. Yeah. And the other thing that was hard was Matt and Grace were so good at what they did. Like people didn't even have to tell them their order. Hey, you'd walk in. Hey, Roy. Roy. Hey, give me my usual. Well, I don't know what your usual is. Yeah. So some people got mad at me that I didn't know. Like people don't like change. You know what I mean? So I had to overcome that obstacle. Yeah. But we made it happen, man.
Yeah,
we made it happen.
You did.
So
you done a good job.
You and I have a connection there with not being afraid, being afraid to do something.
Yeah. Well, I had my union card to fall back on. And Portland, I never realized how far away Portland, Maine was, where I had to go to where they wanted me to go work. 175 miles. Wow. And I thought, I don't want to be away from my kids that 5 days a week.
Right.
Because obviously I couldn't drive back and forth.
So how was the pizza business?
It was good. And in 5 years' time, I bought the property across the street.
Wow.
And built a new one.
Wow.
And this one, my other one was carry out, had 2 tables. I could seat a total of 7 people.
Wow.
And I built this new brick building, beautiful, beautiful building. And all of the prep and cook and everything was in the basement. Mm-hmm. And I did an unbelievable amount of business.
How old are you during this time frame?
Well, I opened it in 1973, so I would have been 29 years old.
Yeah.
And it just went crazy. So then I went to the very guy that put me on to pizza. I went back to his little town, and I told him, because he kept saying, I want to go back over to his wife had left him, and which he should have. And I'm going to go over there and be around her. And, he says, I think I'm going to sell out. And I said, well, maybe I'm interested in buying it. And so he gave me this price, just stupid. I said, let me see the books. I don't have no books. Yeah. I knew he didn't, and I said, well, no. So we went round and round for about 3 months. And then I went across the street, bought the place over there, the building, and I set one up right there across the street from him. And he saw the writing on the wall, and in 6 weeks' time, he was gone. He just sold out. But I built that one up, and we had seafood there plus pizza.
Wow.
And we served just 3 brands, scallops, clams, and shrimp, and haddock. And then everything else was pizzas and sandwiches.
So an Illinois boy goes to Maine,
Mm-hmm.
and he's figuring it out. If you could capsulize your particular recipe for success those first few years, what made you successful where other people had failed? What was it? If you can look back. So one, you had a guy that gambled on you with $500.
Right.
He trusted you.
Yeah.
But Roy, in 5 years, you went from this little place that sat just a few tables to building them, and then built and then another one. So what was your recipe?
That held 124 people.
So tell me, for someone who has a dream and wants to go after it, and someone that made it happen, how come you were able to make it happen and others weren't?
Well, number one, we kept long hours, and we done a good job. I had good people. I actually hired a chef out of New York. He was up there on vacation. He was retired, and he kept coming in there and eating. Well, one day I struck up a conversation with him, and he said, you ought to sell spaghetti. It's Italian and lasagna. I said, I wouldn't have a clue how to make spaghetti or lasagna. He said, I make probably the best there is. And so one thing led to another. I told him to make me some, and I'll be the judge how good it is. And he wasn't kidding. So I hired him simply to cook the spaghetti and lasagna. So the first thing we done was I had a billboard that sat out in front of my restaurant. It was 6 or 8 feet long and about 4 and letters on it, So I put spaghetti night, Wednesday night spaghetti night special. It was cheap, $2.99, all you can eat spaghetti, and with garlic bread. Mm-hmm. And of course we serve beer, no alcohol, just beer, and a draft beer. Of course, they buy a draft beer or two, then I didn't lose money.
Right.
So and that was my drawing card. And they went crazy over that spaghetti.
Wow.
So that's how I done it. And then I had a footprint of what ought to sell in that place. And it just went over big. I think my personality might have helped a little bit. And then there came a point where maybe it hurt. I don't know. But
so you're a lifelong entrepreneur. So while we're talking about pizza and entrepreneurship, I just want to go through all the businesses that you've had in time. Like I want to go, let's just stay in this time period of entrepreneurship. Yeah. But the first thing you said when I said, hey, what was the recipe to success? You said we worked long hours. Yeah. When you own a business, you got to be willing to work whatever it takes. Yeah. Listen, just be whatever it takes, right? Especially those early years, whatever it takes. And then 2, you said I had good people, and there was this guy that came in and said, hey, why don't you do some pizza or do some spaghetti? Who cares? But
I don't.
But when you have a dream, it's been I'm tracking with you because it's been my experience that in time, the right people come into place to fill in those gaps that you're weak at. Like you said, I didn't know how to make spaghetti, but this guy did. Yeah. And to be able to build a team based on their strengths and kind of don't maximize the strengths, minimize the weaknesses. It takes all different types of people to make this world go round. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can be an owner, but there's people that have their place. Right. And to be able to have that mindset of, hey, it's going to take people to do this, and I need good people. That's I think that's why you're successful. Yeah. And then to be able to read people, because you're a good reader of people, to be able to read people and say, okay, he's good here, he's good there. And for you to early on not become a pizza maker, but a business owner and use people
Yeah.
and have relationships with people.
Yeah.
I think that's
I pretty much, I brought my father up there. I told you that.
you did, yeah.
And my stepmother, Daddy had remarried. She worked for me for a number of years, best help. And my father, but my feet started itching, you know, and so in 1978 I sold out.
Hold on a minute. Before we talk about selling out, you had your dad and your stepmom working with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making correlations to where I'm at. You know, virtually all my kids work with me in business.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Man, how good does it feel to have your daddy with you that you can trust 1,000%?
Yep.
Because there's something about family.
Yeah.
That they have your back in a way that others
Yeah.
can't. Just
a high-paid employee won't.
Yeah, can't. So maybe another ingredient to your recipe for success was your daddy had your back, your family, like that family support. I heard a statistic that if you start a business and the two spouses work together in the business, they're like 300 more times chance of being successful than if it's just one of the spouses working in it.
Yeah.
Just family pulling together, more people pulling together. That's a recipe for success.
Family's everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Family's everything.
Yeah.
So you got the itch. You sold out. I'm guessing you made some money because that's what you do.
And yeah, I did. And before I'd sold out, they started a big sewer project in that town, and so I saw these dump trucks, bulldozers.
Wow.
So I said, "Well, I can't miss out on this." So I bought a dump truck, and I bought a John Deere bulldozer, and then I bought a John Deere articulated loader, and I worked out that the minute that city contract was over, and I left out part. The city was looking for a contractor to convert the dump to a landfill. Well, this was after I bought that stuff, because the sewer project is going to go on for 4 years, but it could only work through the summertime because the wintertime they can't work. So here I bought this equipment, and I thought, well, you got to make that payment 12 months a year.
Oh.
So I bid that landfill project, and and I got it. I got the contract.
Okay, so we got to pause.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any contracting experience at this time?
Did I? Yeah, not really.
Okay. All right. But you bid this project.
Yeah.
So relive this for me. All right, you see this opportunity, you bid this project. So how did you come up with that number?
Well, I knew the number of yards that they was estimating and everything. Of course, what they put out on the spec sheet, they can be held to other words of there's an overage.
Okay.
So that the contractor doesn't get hung.
Okay.
So I knew where I could get my material. The way it turned out, it was just a mile and a half down the road.
Okay.
So, because every day you have to, you compact this garbage,
okay.
with a bulldozer. I had to buy a bigger and heavier one.
Right.
And you compact it, and then you cover it. And you build berms to put this in. But no more open, burning, old, smelly dumps
Understood.
like there was. And so I had the 3-year contract. Well, at the end of 2 years,
hold on a minute. How did you get this contract? You have no experience.
I bid it and I got it.
You just bid and you just got it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, there's other people in the town that have that equipment and.
Oh, there was quite a few.
Okay, so
4 other people bid it, and
but the man with no experience got it. So
yeah. The one with no experience got it.
That's what I'm saying. The man with no experience got it. So how did that happen?
Well,
you were just the cheapest bid? Did you know
I
somebody?
think it all comes down to one thing. The other ones that were bidding it were established contractors, and they wanted to make a killing off the city.
Got it.
And I just wanted a fair day's wages.
Got it.
And that's basically, I think, what it came down to.
Got it. It makes sense.
To this day, I don't know how much they bid, but and I don't care. But the thing that helped me was being able to link up with the guy a mile and a half down the road where I could get my material.
Got it.
And he told me he'd been approached by 2 other people. He said, I don't like them. And I said, so you like me? Yeah. He said, Felix Duschek.
So again, there's an aspect of business that requires relationships.
Yeah.
That man wouldn't do business with other people just because he didn't like them, but he did business with you.
Yeah.
If he hadn't liked you, that deal might not have happened. So there's this thing about business that requires reading somebody.
Yeah.
What is business? It's relationships. If I can't trust this relationship, then we got nothing.
Yeah. Well, what appealed to me the most, in the wintertime, you've got to stockpile, so because you can't be trucking, and the banks are frozen. So you stockpile this material and you salt it. And then the only thing that's required is an attendant that has to be there, 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And I had the perfect guy. I built him I called it his shack, but it had heat and a TV in it. And he would sit there and make sure they had a sticker on their car to be able to use it. And then of an evening, before he closed, he'd take the loader and put the stuff up there, and then take the dozer and push the sand down over the top of what we had compacted that day. And Roy come to Florida, me and my current wife. But in the meantime, I left out the divorce because I just don't really want to even talk about it.
Yeah.
And
hold on one second.
yeah.
Michael, is that microphone good? All right. I'm just curious if it was good.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the.
It's like he could technically the whole boom, or he could put it down high in the space. Sounds good.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
All right. Before we talk about moving to Florida, how old are you when you started this? When you got the contract for this job in Maine that we're talking about?
24.
You can't be 24 because you're 30 something when you started.
Oh, no. I mean 34.
34.
That's what I meant.
Got it. So 34.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had that contract for 3 years, you said?
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
Was it a moneymaker? Was there, during that time frame, did you lose sleep at any time? Was there anything that happened that was like, oh crap, this sucks? Like, was there any low points in that, or was it just all, were you just cashing checks?
They deposited the check I got paid once a month on my contract.
Okay.
They put it in my bank account, and I sent my caretaker, the attendant there, I'd send him a check every week. I'd mail it so he'd have it. And, but then I came to, Florida, and I'm just going to hang out for a winter with my current wife.
Sharon,
yeah. And I just took it easy all winter. Well, then I went back to Maine for the summer.
Okay, I understand now.
And that was the last year of my contract. But I had a 1-year extension at my disposal.
Okay.
And I walked in City Hall and told them I didn't want it. I said, go ahead and put it back out for bid. I don't want to run it another year.
Why?
Well, just the liability. And it wasn't like I was making that much money. And I just decided I didn't want to bother. I wanted to devote all of my time to what I was going to do in Florida.
Okay, understood.
And that's what I done. And
so you in Maine during the winters, there's nothing going on.
No.
So you came to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you saw some opportunities here because you
I
could have
did.
renewed the
Oh
contract.
yeah, they was everywhere.
You could have renewed the contract. You said, "Hey, never mind."
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make that transition. You moved to Florida. What were the opportunities in Florida that you saw that you took advantage of?
Well, all of the construction that was going on, and that's where my interest lied, was in heavy equipment, and that's what I done.
And you got a little bit. You had a little bit of experience with heavy equipment from this contract in Maine.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
plus I grew up with it on the farm. So,
Got it.
Yeah. So no, that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I done, and that all worked out pretty well, and then
What did you do? What did you do? You moved to Florida. What was the first thing you did when you moved to Florida in regard to
there was a
business?
company called General Co-op,
Okay.
and I went over to see them, and you lease them your truck, and you put a driver in it, and or you drive it or whatever, and they had like 300 trucks at least, and all of the work that was going on around here, and so I done that for 1 year.
Dump trucks.
Yeah,
Got it.
and I had two of them.
Did you drive the dump trucks?
Yeah, I did.
Wow. Okay.
And then Bill, that works for me, he was the other part.
Got it.
And so I done that, and then after 2 years I done that, and then you couldn't work without a broker. In other words,
Understood.
yeah,
That's how it works here. So, in regard to like dump truck hauling or whatever, you got your dump truck, but they all go through these brokers, right?
yeah,
So you have two dump trucks, and you said for 2 years you're working through this broker,
right,
hauling material, building roads, building house pads, whatever, right?
right,
Okay,
yeah.
understood.
And then and they're taking 10% of your money.
Right.
So at the end of 2 years, the state finally smartened up and said, "You didn't." It was called a PUC, Public Utility Commission,
Okay.
and so you could go out on your own as long as you could post the insurance bond.
Got it.
And it was $1 million, is what it was. And
$1
if you
million.
had,
What are we at right now? We're in the 1980s.
81.
81.
Yeah.
So $1 million in 81. That's significant.
Yeah,
That's
well,
probably a $3-4 million bond
no,
today.
I got I got an insurance company to post my bond.
What I'm saying is $1 million in the 80s is probably like $3-4 million a day. So
Yeah, right, yeah.
Got it.
So that's how I got around that. And then 2 or 3 years later, the state just even abolished that. So now you could go tomorrow and buy a dump truck and
Just start working.
and just go to work. So I done that right up until 85, and 86. I built the house that I live in now.
Yeah.
I CO'd that in May of 1986.
Wow.
So that's how long I've been there. 40 years almost in that house.
Same house. Yeah.
And I just kept buying that land there around me, and and then there come the storage.
So hold on a minute. Okay, here we go. I think this is another recipe to success and why at your age you have what you have. You utilize the money that you're making hauling dirt or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and then you invested that in some property. You said, I just kept buying this property around me.
Right.
Okay, so I'm making mental
Yeah.
notes.
So
Because to use your body or your equipment to make money, you need to convert that into something that makes money for you. And I think that's what we're getting with the storage units,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So again, the difference between working hard and not having anything when you're in your 80s and working hard and having something in your 80s is when your body's young, your mind is sharp,
Yeah.
and you have the ability to make money, take some pieces of that and invest it into something that's going to make you some money in the future. Is that
like the storage.
like the storage unit?
Well,
Got it.
see, I built, and you know this, you've heard me talk about it. I built that building for my equipment,
Wow.
and
So for people who don't know, who don't know, you're in the dump truck business. You built your house with the money that you made. You bought a piece of land to store your equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
To store your equipment.
Right.
All right. Now you saw an opportunity there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I built that building for my equipment on the same property I built my house on.
Right.
And then in 95, I just decided that I wanted to retire, that I felt that I had things in order enough that I could.
So in 95, how old are you?
Well, in 95, I'd have been 51.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So by the time you moved from Illinois to Maine, you said I think you were early 30s, right? When you started the pizza shop, you said your early
Right.
30s.
Yeah.
Now at 51. So it was about 20-year stretch.
Yeah.
So for 20 years, you're just working long days,
Yeah.
seeing opportunities, not being fearful of and just getting after it. So in 20 years, you're like, hey man, I think I've made enough money here.
Yeah.
I want to make a different transition.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I sold my equipment, and I kept a 544 John Deere loader for a couple of years. And then I thought, why did you keep that? So I sold that too. And well, once I got all that equipment out of that building, all of a sudden, hey, I got a boat or something. So that's how I got started there. Now that was in 95. And then in 2000, when I seen all of a sudden that big building of mine was full.
Wow.
So in 2000, I went up to 31 and I bought the south side of the road there. I bought that 5 acres and built them storage buildings. And then in 2002, I bought the other 5 acres on the other side of the road.
So for people who may not understand where we live and understand this, your house that you live in now is what, like 30 acres?
24.
24 acres.
Yeah.
You have a big, long barn in the outback.
Yeah.
I've worked on that barn. We had a hurricane and we lost some metal roofing. So I know what it looks like. So you have your house, you have this barn, this big, long barn that you use for all your equipment when you needed it. You sold that equipment. People and friends would say, hey, can I store my boat there? Where you live, there's a bunch of RV parks and stuff, right?
Yeah, there is.
And people haul them.
Yeah.
And so you're just letting your friends park it and stuff in there. And then it was full. It's like, there's an opportunity here. So you buy up the road on 31 some property, build some storage units, and there's self-storage all over the place now.
Yeah.
But you were ahead of the time.
I got lucky.
You were ahead of the time, brother.
And then with Babcock all of a sudden coming in and buying right across the road from me.
So you so describe to me the storage facility business. I know about it, but describe it for someone who doesn't know. There's these trailer parks and stuff around us. You would even haul the trailers them when they would go up the north. You say, hey, I'll take care of that, and you charge them a fee to go park it. Like you took care of your people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the storage business. How long did you do that for?
Well, I opened it in the year 2000.
Okay.
And on the south side of the road, and then I just outgrowed that 5 acres. So in 2002, I bought the 5 acres on the other side of the road, and in a year's time, I filled it. I got 10 acres. I had 436 people paying me rent.
What's the average rent?
Oh, I don't know what you'd call an average because you got outside and inside.
Just what's the average?
But an average rent would probably be, if you combine the inside and the outside together, probably be $65 to $75 a month.
So it's not. It's reasonable.
Yeah,
it's reasonable.
So that was the good Lord smiled on me when I went and bought that land.
Yeah,
I never dreamed or had any idea. Nobody knew that Babcock Ranch was going to build right across from me on 31.
Before we get to Babcock Ranch, how long were you running the storage facility for?
How long did I run it?
Yeah, I
actually closed on it January the 31st of 24. But I had it leased out for 3 years out of that.
Got it.
So I ran it from until 21.
Got it.
And
And then you end up selling it.
I had it leased out, and and then I've sold it, and I got. I'll never say that I've sold it until they make their last payment.
Understood.
And I've got until the year 1996, or the 96th payment. I mean,
Got it.
and at the end of 8 years, then they either got to write me a really big check, or I'll be the proud owner of it again.
Proud owner again.
Or my kids will.
But and you bring a good point, because in business, a lot of it is just being willing to work hard, whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah.
But then, while you're being diligent in your business, being a wise steward, working your business, taking care of your customers, you said the good Lord smiled on me. So, years ago, up 31, you're out in the middle of nowhere. I think there's a fire department close by, and then there's just you in the storage. And it just looks like an abandoned old, like nothing.
Yeah.
But boy, brother, you go there now, there's a whole city across the road from you.
What? A city.
A city across the road from you. What does that mean? What does that mean for you, or where you're at?
Well, just as a gift from God.
Why?
Why? I'd like to say that I deserved it.
Is it
No, it's just I don't. I'd like to say that I don't. Good things happen to good people.
Your property value just went way up, right?
Yeah.
Your property value over there just skyrocketed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I made life very easy for my children as a result of it, and
right.
And well, I will.
Right.
They don't get their hands on it yet.
Yeah.
And it's just, I if you want to, I want to go back and talk about Natalie.
Okay. Let's
not go back. I just want to talk about her.
We're going to. So, and this is a good transition here. We talked about your business.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about your work ethic, your diligence, your seeing opportunities and getting after it. And then we saw God blessing you, and we saw that financially you can take care of not only your wife, but a big circle. And again, this podcast is for like entrepreneurs and business people behind us to hear your story, to have the grit to do what it takes, but also what's the purpose? Not just to have money, because money doesn't bring happiness, right?
No.
But money does create opportunities. And I want to talk about those opportunities that you're able to have to invest in people. I want to talk about Natalie. I want to talk about those kids that I talked about earlier. I want to talk about you being in a place where you can look around and have a heartbeat on relationships and be able to be generous, to be able to invest time in the people, because you've created a space in your life where you can have time for people. But right now, I got to hit that bathroom. So let's take a little break. We'll come back and talk about that side of you. This part of the podcast is brought to you by Frequence. The product is Source. These are my trace minerals. It's no big secret that the American diet isn't what it used to be. Our food is not nutrient dense. This helps close the gap for me. Find the link in the bio, and let's get back to the show. All right, we're back from the break. So we talked about your life and business. You created this nest egg, not just for you, but it was to take care of your circle, your daughters and your son that we briefly talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the plan, Roy, was for you to turn over the storage to your son and like to set him up.
I'd literally build it for him.
And then there was a severe change in life that happened. Mm-hmm. What year was that?
2008.
2008.
Yep.
I remember you came into the deli and your demeanor was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, your demeanor was different.
Yeah.
So Roy Jr., he was
27.
27 years old. He was on his motorcycle, and they think an animal or something ran
Yeah.
out in front of him.
Raccoons.
Yeah, raccoon.
Yeah, that's that is something that I probably every day or night I pray that no other parent has to go through. It's horrible.
You pray that, and I pray that, but the reality is it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happens, but the reality is it happens. So here you got your boy that you're setting up for life and have a game plan. Then he's taken, and you've never gotten over that.
No, never will.
I know some things about him. I know he loved boats. I know he loved motocross. I know you and him were connected on motocross. Like anything that boy wanted to do, you supported him with everything,
Yeah.
and you guys were tight. You guys were close.
We were. People always said, "Are you ever go anywhere without him?" I said, "Not if I can help it."
Yeah.
No, we traveled a lot, for his motocross. It wasn't really exciting for me, but I was with him, and
Right.
that was, he raced in Unadilla, New York, and Michigan, Pontiac, and the Silverdome, Atlanta, Georgia. We traveled. I went and bought a toy hauler, a new diesel truck, and away we went.
But
Some
you know
of the
what?
happiest days of my life.
But even that, you building something to where you could take the time to spend with him. That's precious, because not everybody has those opportunities. A lot of people are working day to day and don't have those opportunities, but you had this opportunity because of your work ethic and the intellect that God gave you, the work ethic that God gave you, to spend all this time with your son.
Yeah.
That was a gift.
Yeah.
It was a gift.
Yeah.
So, anything that you want to, while we're here talking about this, anything you want to say to honor your boy in this little pocket where we're at, to remember him?
The only way the best way that I can honor him, I do on a daily basis. And that's because he's always on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's, he wouldn't expect any less out of me.
Yeah.
No.
I know his room, you left it just the way it was.
I'm sorry?
I know his room, you left it just the way it was.
It is.
All
and
these
I
years.
sleep there.
Mm.
I sleep in that room. His clothes are still hanging in the closet.
Yeah.
And his trophies are still there. I allowed my daughters, a couple of my daughters wanted some of these trophies. I let them take them. And especially my youngest daughter, him and her were real tight.
Mm.
And so, no, people say, well, when are you going to, like my wife's maid, she'll say, you need to clean that closet out. And I said, no. I'd build a new house before I'd do that.
Yeah.
And, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll just get up and say, you know what, it's time. But he'll have to be the one to tell me.
Yeah. That's
I think I'll know when that time comes.
Yeah.
That's,
losing a child, especially in their 20s, especially as close as you were to him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something I would ever want to get over.
No. I've had a few enemies in my life, but I would not wish that on one of them.
That's the deepest pain you've ever felt.
Yeah. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, losing a child. No. It's the worst thing that can happen to a parent.
In the hardest and lowest time of your life, a little sprout of blessing came up during that time frame that I think gave you something, not to distract you from the pain, but it gave you something to focus on.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Natalie. So
yes, Natalie.
Natalie.
Yep.
Describe that relationship with Natalie. Who is Natalie? Like, describe the losing your son, and then this little blossom that popped up in your life that I think
Well,
I think
right,
was medicine to you.
right after we lost Roy, Natalie's mother, Roy's ex-girlfriend, whom they were not dating at the time, right at the time, she came to the house and she said she had something to tell us. And the minute she said that, I knew what it was. I just knew we was sitting there at the kitchen table. And I said, "You're pregnant." "Yeah, I'm going to have a baby." And she told us. And, so anyhow, come May, she had a baby, a little baby girl. And I was in Maine by this time, up to my summer home. And Sharon, my wife, flew back to Florida to be in a hospital with Natalie's mama. And so when Natalie was 8 days old, I got on a plane and flew back to Florida because I had to see this baby. And I tell everybody that I took her, Heather handed her to me, and I was holding her. And I looked and I saw them blue eyes. And I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Right then and right there.
Yeah, you did. That was all she wrote, brother.
That was
because
it.
listen, once
And,
once that girl came on the scene, Roy,
yeah.
she was with you. Like every time I saw you, there she was, Papa,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Appa. That's
Appa.
my name, Appa.
Yeah, Appa.
She's 16 now. Driving, doing real well in school. And she's got a wonderful stepfather.
So you guys get together how often? You and Natalie?
2-3 times a week now.
2 or 3 times
She
a
only
week.
lives 3 miles from me.
Yeah.
I used to go pick her up from school at night, and her and I'd go to Rib City or Waffle House, her 2 favorite places to eat. But then when we go out as a group, my circle of friends, we always take Natalie with us. And she wants to go because, she likes them too. And they look at her as family. So, and, she's been a blessing in my life.
You lost Roy. What month did you lose Roy?
August 15th,
And then when
2008.
when did Natalie come on the scene?
8 months later.
8 months later.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Huh?
Perfect timing.
Yeah. And yes, that's all I'm going to say about that. She, Roy made a comment to me on the phone. I was in Maine, said him and Heather, Natalie's mother, they had went fishing. And I said, and I thought you and her was done. He said, "Dad, I love to fish with her. She's a wonderful fisherman." And then he went on to say how hot it was. He said, "We had to hunt for a shady spot." You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe I shouldn't even say this, but 9 months to the day from that day,
Wow.
Natalie was born.
Wow.
So when Natalie came into this world, I'm strongly suspecting, I think, that Roy was her father. And that's actually what I wanted.
Right.
And but Heather informed us that he wasn't. She wasn't.
But it didn't matter to you.
But no, at first it kind of bothered me a little bit, and but now it don't. It just don't matter.
Don't matter.
Don't matter.
That's your grandbaby.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. She's traveled summers, spent the whole summer with me in Maine. She's done that 3 or 4 years, and so then her mother got married, to the man she's married to now.
Yeah,
The
I knew
deputy.
I knew him. I knew him because he was coming to the deli with his German Shepherd, and
Right.
just a really good dude.
Oh, he is. He's a nice guy.
And then later on, I found out that they were dating and had gotten married.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah, what a perfect father figure for Natalie.
Yeah. Well,
And then
Natalie lives with her stepfather. Her mother is gone and been gone for some time now. And that just lends strength to what you just said about him being a good guy.
Yeah.
Natalie told me just the other day, he said, Natalie, you're not going to leave me, are you? She said, no, I'm not going to leave you.
Right. I had a thought just now. Like listening to your story from the beginning all the way through where we're at now. Natalie's your family, but she's not. Early on, Harmon was family, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
The black caretaker was family, but she's not. Like, family doesn't have to look a certain way, does it?
No.
Doesn't have to look a certain way. And God can bring people in our lives that we can just love and treat like family, and it doesn't have to look a certain way.
Right.
And then listening to your story, your mother that should have been family, that's not.
No.
But other people that aren't family and are more connected than real family.
Yeah,
you follow me?
right.
Than actual blood.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that I can learn from you.
And don't ever sort your family out by the blood, by their blood.
By the bloodline.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I can learn that from you.
Because I learned a long, long time ago that doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
You know, my daddy accepted my baby sister.
Even that story. Yeah. That's your sister.
Daddy wasn't her biological father, but oh God, he loved her. He took to her and she was a wonderful person, thanks to Daddy.
Yeah.
Not my mother.
I can see this theme from your dad taking on a daughter and then you taking on a granddaughter. I can see this theme of it doesn't have to be blood to be family.
No.
Man,
No.
And how God connects people in our lives at the right time that sometimes are closer than family.
Yeah, they're placed there.
Placed there.
Yeah. I believe that. Oh. But anyhow, I just want the best for Natalie and for my children and my wife. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Man.
And you've done a good job of building a life for your family. When I talk about being still strong, a part of being still strong is that financial stability. It's not about the money. It's about, as men, doing what we're supposed to do. If God gives you abilities and talents to get after it 100%, to build what you're supposed to build. And we're all built differently. Not everybody's an entrepreneur, but if you are, be the best one you can be. Like whatever God has called you to be, get after it and be whatever get after and be whatever it is you're supposed to be.
I've seen,
not for yourself, but for the ones that you love.
Right, yeah. In my life, I've seen so many people that I've noticed it in employees that I've had over the years, and I've had a lot of them. All I can think of is a baseball catcher. They're just sitting back waiting on something to drop into their glove.
Oh,
They're not willing to run out to the mound to get the ball.
That's a good analogy.
And then in my lifetime, having employees, I've had 2 or 3 of them say, well, it's easy for you to say, the money you got. And I always told them all the same thing. Nobody gave me that money.
Right.
I worked for it.
Right.
And you need to do that. You don't want to work overtime. You don't want to work Saturdays or Sundays. So until you change your mind, it ain't going to change.
But you learned that at an early age, 8 years old, milking cows. You learned a work ethic, and that work ethic has been a recipe for success for you.
Yeah. Well, I often ask myself, and I had neighbor guys ask me, you do all that work for your dad because you love him or because you're afraid of him? I said, a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. A little bit of
But
both.
boy, he was a disciplinarian. He said, "I don't chew my tobacco twice, boy," and he meant every word of that.
Wow.
I shouldn't tell this on myself. When I was a freshman in high school, they had this initiation. You had to go somewhere and steal something worth 25 cents.
Oh.
And I said, "Nah, I'm not doing that," you know. So anyhow, one day Daddy and I was in, it was called the Five and Dime, and walk along, and there was a bin that had these little pocket knives about that long, and it had a chain on it. And I said, "Daddy, can I have this?" And he glanced at it and he said, "Just something else to get hurt with, boy." And I put it up. And he just walked on. I stuck that in my pocket when he turned his back. And we got home. We had just got a telephone.
Wow.
So we drove out in the country out to the farm, and the phone rang, and I was all excited to answer it. I ran over and answered it, and I heard that voice. Is Everett Daddy wrote a check. And back then, they just had blank drafts on it. You'd write in the name of the bank and sign it, and that was it. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Daddy, the phone's for you." I laid the phone down, and I started towards the front door. I got right out into the kitchen, and I heard him say, "Just a minute, boy." I knew what it was.
I bet your heart sank.
Oh, man. He beat about 2 years of growth right off my hind end with a tug strap. But you know what? I never stole anything again in the rest of my life.
Wow.
And I don't think I would have anyway, but he just confirmed
Just made
that.
sure. Yeah.
And to show his conviction, 3 years later, my sister goes to high school, same thing, and she got caught.
Oh, no.
And I thought, well, yeah, he took her to the barn, and he took a tug strap to her. And I could hear her letting the screeches right, and I could feel for her. She come in and said, I said, "Well, I'll bet you he did hit you as hard as he did me." But here's the thing about Daddy. He got to the back of my legs, so he told me to come out the table. I had to come out there and eat, and I could hardly walk. He picked me up, carried me in, laid me belly first on my bed, and he sat down on the edge of the bed, and he put his hand on my shoulder, on my opposite shoulder. He said, "You're not going to understand this now, son, but someday you will." That hurt me more than it did you. And how could you say that after the way you hit me? And that's what he told me. And I've never, ever, ever, or will I ever forget that.
Wow.
You know, it hurt me worse than it did you.
So he disciplined you, but he also communicated love to you.
Yeah. You know what? That's the only time I think my father ever laid a hand on me in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
It's when you stole?
I've seen him grab me by the arm and, "Are you listening?"
Yeah.
No. But never, ever a blow or anything. Same way with my sister. You know, Daddy he didn't tend to thieving, you know, so that's the way the world ought to be today, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, as far as children go, I don't mean they ought to get a beating, but I'm just saying there's a lot of discipline lacking in today's society. Teenagers, young kids, adults, old people. I mean, we're living in a world that people just, I don't know what's wrong.
We've definitely lost our way.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
And we've definitely lost our way.
Yeah.
Just common respect, common respect.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Especially got to be hard on an old guy like you. I'm 81 years old.
They got to be nice to me. I'm old.
Listen,
they just soon punch me in the face as they would.
It's no wonder that you're just not a cranky old man just mad at the world. Being around 81 years with a bunch of people, disrespectful young whippersnappers. It's a wonder you're
the
not
sad
cranky.
part of it, I'll still tell them that too.
Good for you.
Yeah, I still tell them. You know,
Can we, Roy? What I really like about you, and I mentioned it, you take in stray animals, your wife and all those cats, the stray dogs, children.
Yeah.
Can you just paint a picture of for instance, and you can tell the story, but for instance, it hit me hard when I saw you bring those 2 kids into the deli,
Mm-hmm.
that I knew there was something wrong. Like, you picked up there's something wrong with their home life, and you took it upon yourself to be a shield or just a respite, just a break for whatever it was they're going through. Like, you have a heart for, you have a soft spot. You're a
For
big,
children,
you're
I
a
do,
big
yes.
hard man, but you got a soft spot. And I know you've been generous. I know you've given yourself. And I know you don't like talking about yourself, but just for my own
Well,
piece
them 3 girls that you talk about, they lived right down the road from me, and their home life was not good. Not at all. A lot of swearing, a lot of drinking. And so they would walk and ride bicycles up and down. Well, Natalie was at my house. Natalie was living with us at that point. So them girls come up there and they go back up to the pond, and I'd go up there and let them swim, and I'd sit right there and watch them swim. And so the second oldest girl, Alana, and Sky is the oldest one, and Brooklyn is the youngest, and Alana was the middle girl. She's the girl that got hit by the school bus on Durant Road, and they got killed. 12 years old, and that really, really, really bothered me. And there's still a monument there for her. And so Brooklyn and Sky's out of school now, and she just went to Texas. Her and 3 other girls. Sky is 18 now, and Brooklyn, she's 15. And no, she isn't. She's 16. She's 16 now, same age as Natalie. Oh, they didn't know what it was like to go to Dairy Queen. I took them to Dairy Queen a lot. And they'd go in there and, get the sandwich they wanted, then have a sundae or something.
What was it that you saw in those girls that you said, hey, I need to intervene for them? What was it?
A drunken father.
You picked up on that.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't hard to do. And I wanted them, and I'd wound up after about the 3rd or 4th time that I had them out, just them and I.
Yeah.
And now I've got 4 little girls.
Yeah.
And I told them, if you ever need a place to come to, you come here, or if you need help. I even asked the oldest girl one time, does your dad ever hit you? No, he just yells and screams and throws stuff, she says. But he doesn't hit me. I said he hits Mama. So I said, well, that's, they're still married. And as far as I know, he's still a drunk. Their mother works for a bank. And she's a nice lady, but in my opinion, she's a fool for putting up with it. But
well, I don't want to disparage them. I don't know them. I just wanted to hear like your play in the situation, and that you had the intuition. Because we just said blood doesn't make you family. And for you to reach out to someone else, like these little girls, and to pick up on it and take time as an adult man to take time to show some love and some compassion to some girls that need it, and to minister into their lives. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's opportunities all around us, but we get so blind to what our own day-to-day, our own struggles.
Right.
And I want to be like what you're describing. And I think a part of that is to create this buffer to where I don't need money, and I can see that the real needs around me, and to be a point of just to lift someone up, even if it's just for a couple hours to go to Dairy Queen, just to give a kid a break.
Yeah.
I want to be like that.
It ain't hard to find a child that needs someone.
Isn't that sad to say it's not hard?
Yeah.
That's sad, Roy.
Two of those, out of them 3 girls, 2 of them girls told me, I wish you was my dad.
That's sad, Roy.
Now, you think that don't get your attention? I wish you could be my dad. They wasn't saying that from the material things. They was showing it from the fact that I paid attention to
love to him.
You know, I think I noticed that the oldest girl there mined her father. He told her something, but I think that was out of just natural born respect. I think. I don't know, but don't matter. I have no use for him.
My 6 years ago, I went to Michigan to visit one of my uncles that was dying, and my dad and I took a little road trip down memory lane. He showed me where he grew up and everything, and we pulled up into this one house, Roy, put the car in park, and then he went on to describe how old he was at this house and what life was like in this house. And Roy, they're not like where you're at, where there's these 2.5 acre tracts or 5 acre tracts. Roy, the houses are close together.
Right.
Like the houses are close to, they're small houses, maybe 1,000 square foot, and they're just right next to each other. So he's describing when his dad would come home drunk. He's describing like just a chaotic lifestyle. And out of respect for him and the family, I'm not just Roy, no kid should be treated that way.
No.
Let alone by their parents.
Yeah, I know.
And so he's telling me this stuff. And I'm looking at the house right there and the freaking house right there. And I'm thinking, nobody intervened for this 6-year-old boy?
Yeah.
The neighbor didn't come over here and like
lay hands on him.
he said, Keith, it was just a different time back then. I said, Dad, different time or not, if I was your neighbor, I would have protected you. Different time or not, I would have protected you.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you.
Yeah.
Is you have eyes for the innocent and you just don't see it and walk away. You do something about it.
I'll try.
And I want to be that way.
Yeah. It's a good quality to have.
I want to be that way. Yeah. That's what I love about you, man. I'm going to tell one story. We're going to tell it together. We're going to end this thing on a positive note, and then I'm going to let you finish this podcast however you want. So normally I would say, hey, Roy, where you're at in life now, what would you speak to someone else? So be thinking about that. But we're going to finish one story.
Okay.
And you can correct me where I'm wrong. Your wife. How many cats you guys have at the house?
How many cats?
Cats.
In the house?
Or at the house, on the property. More or less. Is it 100?
No. I think she's down to like 12 or 13.
Oh, so she's
at
way
the house.
So she's way down.
Yeah.
I remember she was feeding some stray cats by this dumpster area or doing something.
Yeah.
And some guy that was new to the neighborhood. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Some guy that was new to the neighborhood was being disrespectful to Sharon.
Yeah. He called her a very foul name.
Somehow you got involved. Somehow this guy pushed you or did something. And the next thing he knows, and I think you're 70-something years old at this time. This guy's in his mid-30s.
I was 69.
This dude's mid-30s and you're 69.
Yeah.
And at 69 years old, you wrapped him up in a freaking rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Choked him out, dropped him on the ground.
Yep.
Cops came. They're looking at him. He's all busted up and bloodied up and messed up. They're looking at you like, what's wrong with you, sir? Ain't nothing wrong with me. But he got a charge for abuse against the elderly because you're 69 years old and he's the one that got abused. Listen, Roy, I love that. Because at 70 years old, I want to be in a place in my life, not just monetarily, not just an open heart for children, but I want to choke somebody out at 70. And I want them to go to jail for abuse against the elderly, and I don't want a mark on me.
You're the one that sent me the sweatshirt.
I
Remember?
did, didn't I? What did the shirt say?
heavyweight champion of Durris Road.
All right, so now you lived the story. So you tell me what really happened.
My wife used to go around and feed feral cats, different locations, hog bodies,
Yeah.
Circle K up on 31, and then across the road from this guy's house, there's a 2.5 acre tract that a lady from Germany owns, and feral cats had taken into that. My wife would go down there and feed them. Now this guy lived on the other side of the road, and my wife told me he'd been yelling at her, and when she'd go down there, oh, it got to the point. I didn't even know who he was, but I saw him riding by one day in a car, and I was down at the mailbox, and I just stopped and I looked at him, and he went by, and so then the next time I ever laid eyes on him was in Lawhorn's grocery store, and I just stood there and looked at him. I made him nervous, me just standing there staring at him. Well, this particular night, I told my wife, I'm going. She told me the night before he was out there swearing at her and everything. So we had that Toyota Sequoia, and it had tinted windows.
Yeah.
So I drove her down there, and she got out to feed the cats. Well, he did not know I was in that Sequoia. Now I'm parked on the other side of the road, and I just put her passenger window down a little bit so I could hear. And he started hollering to her profanities, and I got out of the Sequoia on the driver's side and started walking across the road at him. And he started telling me everything he was going to do to me if I come on his property, and I just let him talk. And he said, I told him, I said, you goofed up, man. You don't talk to you don't disrespect my wife like that. You don't own that property. And I said a few things to him too. But when I walked, I mean, he was a big guy. When I got to the distance that I wanted to be, talking was all over. I hit him right dead between the eyes. And then I had to step back because he fell. And then, like you said, he started to get up on his hands and knees. I'm riding him like a pony. And I got him in that choke, and I just waited on him to go limp. And there, his wife come out. I said, tell him next time it's only going to get worse. That's all what I said to her. And don't ever yell at my wife again. And they didn't. Sharon said, I don't think he'd even turn in his driveway if I was there. So, but then the county came, and Sharon got the county to come out and trap all them cats. One of them she trapped, and it's living in my house now.
Yeah, I don't.
But
surprise me.
all of her cats, they're getting old, and she's got. We go to Lawhorn's grocery store every night and feed 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Be 10 there one night and 11 the next. Got one cat that comes and goes. She goes there every night at 6 o'clock. That's our routine. Go down and feed the cats, and then she's constantly. I'm seeing checks to ferals of Lee County or something.
Yeah.
That's her passion.
That's her passion. Everybody needs one. That's hers.
And then that dog that I have, I absolutely love. I picked him up along a road in North Carolina.
Wow.
We went up there looking for property, actually. And first day we was there, and there was this pup. Have you ever seen my dog?
Yeah.
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 He's awesome. He really is. And
for those of you that don't know, Roy's been trying to have a dog for as long as I've known him.
5 years.
And Sharon just won't let him, but
No.
she finally broke down. Down. I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, she told me, you're too old to get a dog because I lost my last dog, which was an American Bulldog also. I mean, I've had dogs my whole life. I love dogs.
Yeah, I know.
But when I saw that pup, took me 2 days to catch him, but I got him.
Wow.
Bacon strips.
Crazy.
He couldn't turn it down. And The other day I picked him up. I'm standing on the scales, and I just picked him up. I said, I think the scales will weigh him and I both. And he weighed 90.4 pounds.
Oh, so he's up there.
And Sharon said, oh, he don't weigh that much. He's just all muscle. So a few days later, I went out to 31, and because I got him everywhere I go.
Sure.
And I drove into the vets, and I walked in, and I said, can I bring my dog in and weigh him? Sure. So I walked him in there, and he stepped on the scale, and he weighed 91.7. No.
Big boy.
And he'd be 3 years old in June, I think it is. He'd be 3 years old, but what a fabulous dog.
Everybody needs a companion.
Huh?
Everybody needs a companion.
Yeah, right.
Dogs are good
Yeah.
companions.
I know I bought that new truck, and I think he's probably driven down the value of it about $10,000 with the dog hair.
That's like my truck. Agnes rides around with me, but I hate having her in there because she sheds all over the place. But
Yeah.
I feel bad leaving her. So
Yeah,
it's
I
just
can't leave. When I left there to come out here today, I started because he's content. He'll just he just lay out there.
yeah.
But Sharon said, you leave him right here. My wife's not a dog fan, and
No.
he's winning her over, though.
Good. Well, Roy, we're gonna wrap this up. I know you got stuff to do, but just you spending the last couple hours just reminiscing your life with me.
Mm.
What would you speak to someone else where you're sitting at in life right now? What would you speak to someone else to be an encouragement to them?
Just don't ever give up, and always keep looking forward, not backwards. And be willing to put in the work.
It's worked for you.
Yeah.
It's worked for
That's
you.
what worked for me. Yeah.
Well, man, I love you. I appreciate our friendship.
Yeah.
I think I enjoy being around older people because you can learn a lot from their wisdom.
Yeah. And you never know when we're not going to be here.
And I appreciate you laying some wisdom down with us today.
Yeah.
Brother, let's get out of here.
Still strong, watch me rise my way. Slow growth turns into real change. I found joy.